Hello, good afternoon everybody. This is Venkat Mungala from Vedas World Inc. Today I have with me Dr. Dean Chandaraji along with Mr. Dr. Venkatramana Chaganti. Today Dr. Dean Chandara, who has written more than 16 books on Vedic studies. He is a practicing doctor here in Atlanta, Georgia. He is also the founder and member of the Vedic temple in Greater Atlanta. Also, he is a founder for Vedas World Association of Vedic Studies. Today, he is going to explain us that Ramayana has indeed occurred during the Treta Yuga. So, for that, I will now hand it over to Dr. Venkata Chaganti, who will take us further with the questions.
Thank you, Shastriji. Yeah. Namaste. Namaste, Shastriji. So, dear audience, viewers, the point is, everybody knows in India that Ramayana has taken place, but authentically nobody could prove it. But here we have Dr. Dean Chandaraji, who proves it now authentically and in a scientific manner. In a scientific manner means there should be some evidence that Ramayana has occurred. How can there be evidence when it has occurred a long time back? So let's see what kind of evidence Dr. Dean Chandaraji is going to present to us and whether it is valid or not. So how it will be valid for further generations to know that Ramayana has occurred. So Ramayana is a story and that's what people think. But in fact, it's a history. So Ramayana has taken place a long back, and Valmiki was the author for that Ramayana. And we all have read one or the other Ramayana versions. But the Valmiki version, original version is not available today. But whatever he wrote, we have writings from different poets. So let's see what Dr. Dean Chandara has. I will be putting him some questions, and then he will be answering to my questions, and you can understand whether it is correct or not. So he will definitely prove it's right. So let's see. In next 5 minutes, we will be proving it. Dr. Dean Chandaraji. So people know it as a history. People think some people think it's story. People think it has not occurred. So many things they think. But how do you now consider that Ramayana has indeed taken place? What do you say, Shastriji? Is the question what we are asking for today?
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, your question is very valid. To prove a particular thing is we have to have an evidence. The evidence can be archaeological or physical. There were dinosaurs and the fossils are found indicating that at one time these big dinosaurs were on this earth. Otherwise the fossils will not come.
That's right.
Similarly, to find out whether this story has actually happened or not, one is the cross-cultural study. Second, the literature in reference to other books which directly mention when this thing has happened. Number 3, the evidences from archaeological point of view as well as from the satellite studies of that area. So we'll start first with the anthropological cultural studies. In India, the story of Ramayana every child knows, and it's a part of cradle tales of India.
Yes.
It's on for thousands of years. Father tells the story to the son, son continues to tell the story to their son, and this way it propagates further. A story becomes a legend later on, but we'll have to prove that this thing has happened. If you go westward from India, You come to Burma, you come to Thailand, you come to Eastern Oriental cities and the states such as Vietnam, Laos, Indonesia, and so on, even Malaysia.
So you mean we should go eastwards?
Eastward,
Yeah.
right. As well as if you go further in China, as well as the Japan and so on. In Thailand, Ramayana is the national recognized drama, or in other words, it's an opera which is conducted by the experts, and even the king's palace, if you go and see in the golden color how the Ramayana has happened. If you go further out towards the Cambodia, you will still see in the remnants of Angkor Wat, Rama's pictures in a stone which you can still visualize. And if you go towards Laos, Indonesia and all these countries, you will see a very particular, which is very fascinating. When I visited Thailand, each house will have an altar little above near the ceiling, and it will be colored red, and a person will be sitting with this position. So I asked the person to whose house I visited, and the person said, this is Sita Matha. See, pronunciation will change from place to place. Geography will affect the presentation, the living conditions, as well as lifestyle and so on. So Sita Matha, the pronunciation of Mata became Matha, and common man says Mantha. So who is this Sita Matha, and who was she? Wife of Sri Ram. And in Thailand, there are 3 colors of Rama's statues are available. One is bronze color, which is calm and quiet. Another is green, when he is very angry. And third one is a yellowish color, which is an ordinary stage of mind. I am not digressing from the question, but I am trying to tell you the cultural anthropological studies which prove that Ramayana has happened. Otherwise, Thailand, which is now a Buddhist country, Cambodia is a Buddhist country, Malaysia, which is a half Islamic, most say 90% Islamic country, Indonesia, which is also a Muslim country, they all say that Ramayana has happened, and their national theatre is Ramayana. So this is the cultural, cross-cultural study which cannot be omitted under any condition, number one. Number two, other scriptures, they also say that Ramayana has happened. In Vayu Puran 70.48, the authors of Vayu Puran says that sage Valmiki during Treta Yuga wrote Ramayana. And if somebody reads Valmiki Ramayana, it says in the Valmiki Ramayana, when Sri Ram went and taken away by Vishwamitra and Vasishtha, they passed through the Bhardwaj ashram. And in Bhardwaj ashram, who was living there? Valmiki. Valmiki was the greatest poet, and therefore Bhardwaj told him to recite whatever he needs to do at the coronation of Sri Ram, and that became a Ramayana. And authentic Ramayana is Valmiki, which I just showed you the picture, and that is written in Sanskrit. From this Ramayana, hundreds of other scholars translated in regional languages as well as international languages of Thai and Indonesia or Malaysia and so on and so forth. So now what the main important theme we can cite from Valmiki Ramayana? In Valmiki Ramayana, the fourth section or sarg, when Sri Hanuman visits Lanka, that is the capital of Ravan, he was surprised to see 4 tusked elephants, which he called elephants. Hanuman, when he went to search Sita, because they knew that Sita has been abducted by Ravan, and the Ravan palace is in Ceylon, which is called Sri Lanka. So when he entered in Sri Lanka, he was able to move freely under the guise of another person. And he saw those mastodons were coming and going, and it's like transferring the goods from one side to another side. Nowadays, as the trucks are transporting on the highways of United States and other big countries.
So these are 4 tusked elephants.
That's right.
Okay, they are called as
Mastodons.
mastodons.
According to current scientist data, mastodons existed from 900,000 years to 1.8 million years ago. Those were the mastodons.
Okay.
And how this thing was verified, or say how the scientist came, even 200, 300 years ago, those scientists would not believe that there were 4 tusked mastodons. But in 1996 area, National Geographic presented mastodons, and in their presentation in the film, what was shown that Eskimos have the beautiful tusks of elephants, which are very big and huge. So they were surprised how come the
So Eskimos are from northern hemisphere and near the
poles.
poles.
Right.
Okay.
So National Geographic had an expedition. They asked the Eskimos, where did you find these tusks? So Eskimo told them that this is the place where we find the tusk, and always find something once a while, or say once in 2 years or 10 years, they always find there. So expedition went there, they put the tent. It was very windy and cold, but those scientists worked and they dig the area. When they dig the area, before digging, they looked through the instruments by which they can see there is something underneath the snow or ice is or not. It's just like ultrasound of today.
Okay.
So they found there is something which is reflecting back, and there is a presentation of some sort of other than the ice. And they dig it, they found an example which is not real but died, mammoth in infancy.
Infancy. Okay.
Right. And they took away that one to study further. And there many other mastodons were there having the 4 tusks. Those are not having the 4 tusks, sorry. They were having 2 tusks, but they were huge mammoths. But mastodon were before them. These mammoths, age of the mammoth is found to be 50,000 to 1 million. And before them, they were the mastodons. So they belong to the mastodon and the Hanuman side. So it means there were elephants, big and huge, having 4 tusks. So this proves the point that Hanuman did saw, and it was not a fake story or just a legend or imagination, figment of imagination. Now, we come to the next step of satellite. Satellite studies have revealed a beautiful man-made structure connecting Sri Lanka to the tip of India at Rameswaram or Dhanushkodi area. If you go to that area, you will still see there are many hills, but they are not connected because you cannot see through the ice, the water is there. Many years ago in National Geography study, the National Geographic study found near Japan about 60 feet, 50 to 60 feet under the ocean steps going down towards the sea. Nobody is going to make those steps to go down to the sea, but then what happened? There was a port at that time in particular area, and oceans have been rising up. So what happened? The water has been increasing and surrounding the earth. So everything is submerged. So at the time of Ram, they have built the bridge to connect from India to Ceylon because there were so many other islands also.
But you're saying Japan, no? Just say Japan?
I gave the example of how the water
rose
of the sea is higher now as compared to maybe 1,000 years ago.
Okay.
Because those steps which are near the Japan port at some particular location, nobody is going, a human will not go under the water to make the steps in the solid rock. And they have the exact ship comes there and there is a port and the steps to come goods up.
So that means the water is rising now, so the steps were submerged. So until you have a necessity, why would you construct something?
Right, and not only that, since it has tremendous time elapsed since those bridges or say this Ram Setu, the bridge was constructed, the water has risen so much that you cannot see, but the satellite studies can prove. And that is there, if you can see that I wrote in this Hindu Sanctum and bridge from the India trip to the Ceylon, one can see the man-made structure.
What is the distance which they mentioned there?
It's a satellite study, so I don't know.
All right.
But this proves the point that
there was
something structure man-made under the water, which is very deep. So very deep being because the water has been rising, sea water has been rising, the level has increased, glaciers are melting because the temperature is rising, and therefore things cannot be seen as they were at the time of construction.
That's right.
So that's the another study. So this proves the point anthropological as well as from the studies of the satellite that there was a bridge and there were the mastodons and the Hanuman saw them because the scientists would not even have believed 300, 400 years ago that this thing, Hanuman was able to see the mastodon having the 4 tusks. But Ramayana had been there for thousands and thousands of years before the modern science came into being. So therefore, they testify that this thing, the story has happened, and those are the remnants which can be construed backward to testify the facts that this thing has happened at one time.
So the question is like this. Now after giving so much of evidence, let's streamline the evidence. At first, you said that in Vayu Puran, it is written that Valmiki has written Ramayana in Treta Yuga.
Correct.
So how many years have elapsed from that time to this? Let's see. Treta Yuga is about, if you say entire Treta Yuga, after Treta Yuga there is Dwapar Yuga. After Dwapar Yuga, now Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, 5,118 years have passed.
Correct.
And in Dwapar Yuga, you can say in terms of Dwapar Yuga, the number of years is about 2000 times 360, 2400 times 360.
Yeah, right.
So those many years.
Right.
And then behind that, so how many years? Say it is in Treta Yuga.
Right, even if it is the beginning of Treta Yuga,
Okay.
still it goes thousands and thousands of
Okay.
years back. It goes to about a million years.
Okay, a million years, 50, you can say 1.5 million years approximately.
Exactly.
So the Mastodons were living about 1.5 million years ago.
900,000 to about 2-3 million years ago.
2-3 million. So up to that time they were living.
That's right.
So therefore, in between that time only Ramayana must have occurred.
That's right.
So therefore, and according to Vaipura, it's Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga also comes exactly between those years only.
Right.
So therefore, this proves that Hanuman saw the 4 tusked elephants, which are called mastodons,
Right.
and that were existing that time during Ramayana.
Right.
And also, archaeological studies say that those 4 tusked elephants were living approximately from 900,000 years to 2-3 million years before.
Exactly.
So therefore, Ramayana and this Ramayana period should have been that time.
Correct.
And the evidence is written in Vaipuran that this Vaipuran, when was it written?
By Puran, we don't know when it was
Okay,
written.
it was thousands of years back.
Right.
And they wrote it that Valmiki wrote the Ramayana about approximately in Treta Yuga.
Correct.
So these all put together, it comes to approximately 1.5 million years that Ramayana has really occurred.
Correct.
So the evidence comes from Hanuman's visit to Lanka,
Right.
and he saw the 4 tusked mastodons, and the same thing National Geographic Channel has said that there were in fact 4 tusked mastodons about 9,000 to 2 million years before.
Yeah, all the anthropologists, they agree on that point.
So therefore, this is the evidence produced. Now questions can come. So how is this related? Let me put it once again. Shastriji, let's put once again. So now first thing is that Vayu Puran says it is in Treta Yuga.
Correct.
And according to Deen Chandaraji, Treta Yuga means first now is Kali Yuga, which is 5,118 years.
Before we go to that stage also, who has written this Vaipura?
Vaipuran somebody wrote.
It's very hard to...
It's never told who wrote actually. Somebody says Vyasa wrote, somebody says somebody
So
wrote.
Vaipura is older than Ramayana?
No. Vayu Puran says that Valmiki wrote Ramayana in Treta Yuga. So it means the other scriptures are verifying the other existence of a story which has happened.
Yeah, that's right. Very good question. So Vayu is later to Ramayana. Otherwise, how they will refer Ramayana?
That's what.
Yeah, so Vayu is later one. So Vayu says it's in Treta Yuga. And according to Deen Chandaraji, Treta Yuga means after Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga. After Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga 5,118 years. And Dwapar Yuga approximately 2,400 times 360 years.
Have you taken care of this Sandhi?
Yeah, everything together. And then comes Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga is 3,600 times 360.
Yeah.
So all put together it comes in millions of years.
Correct.
So an average of 1.5 million years we can put Ramayana has taken place.
Yeah.
So once again, so from Vayu we have the years, and from Hanuman's visit we have the 4 tusked mastodons, and from the National Geographic Channel we have the evidence that 4 tusked mastodons indeed existed, and approximately from 9,000 years, 900,000 years to about 2-3 million years. That was the range.
Anthropologists think about that. Yeah.
Anthropologists think about that. So all put together we have concurrently proved.
And also about the Ram Setu bridge.
Yeah, Ram Setu bridge. Ram Setu bridge is existing evidence now.
Correct.
So all put together, we can say Ramayana has indeed existed. Everybody heard about Ram Setu, but about this 4 tusked mastodons and Hanuman's visit, all this put together is given by Dr. Chandaraji. His research has shown very clearly that indeed has occurred.
But I didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
The Valmiki Ramayana says.
Okay, you tell me, sir. In Valmiki Ramayana, which section that Hanuman visited you were saying about? Section 4 something?
In the Chaturth Sarg, and the slok number is 11, 12 and 13.
In 11, 12 and 13, 14th Sarga.
Right.
4th Sarg, it should be in Sundarakand. I believe.
See, it goes by Sarg.
Oh, it goes by Sarga.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to say, so fourth Sarga from the beginning or
No, fourth Sarg, you are right.
in Sundarakand it should be.
Sundarakand,
Yeah.
right.
Sundarakand, fourth Sarg,
Right.
11, 12 and 13, you said at
11, 12, 13.
11, 12, 13.
Yeah,
So these
so-
are the slopes.
Right.
So in this it shows that Hanuman visited Lanka, and in that he saw the four tusked mastodons.
Correct.
And that reference from Valmiki Ramayana and from Vayu Puran and from National Geographic Channel and the Ram Setu, all put together, Dr. Chandraji has given a very, very nice explanation about the proof. Thank you.
And also cross-cultural studies cannot be forgotten because one group of person is telling which has no relation to the other group that this thing has happened.
Exactly.
Because they are Buddhist and they are the Muslims, so nothing is common between the Muslims and Buddhist and the Hindus because just by the story alone,
Yeah.
which is a proof.
Yes.
Exactly.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much for giving valuable answers to Ramayana existed.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.